There we go. I'm here. I'd muted my mic. Hello everyone. Welcome to another Voice Essentials live hangout. You'd think by now, after the amount of live hangouts that we'd done, that I would check my mic before we start, but this is a live show and there you go. It is so good to be hanging out with you guys for the last time this year. What a massive year we've had here on the channel together, and it has been such a wonderful journey these past 12 months, and we're going to go through some of the more interesting statistics of the channel over the last 12 months. I hope it won't be boring for you, but I thought you as a community might like to kind of know what we together have been building here at Voice Essentials, and so I want to go through a few things like that. As I say, this is the last live hangout. Of course, if you're watching this as a replay, welcome. It's always good to have you watching the show. I do want to, today it's so good to have so many of you hanging out in the live chat. I am going to answer your questions a little bit later on today, so make sure you're asking your questions so that I can answer those a little bit later. I do have a student at 3 o'clock, the usual process. We can't extend it beyond 3 today, or 10 to 3, but certainly looking forward to answering your questions a little bit later on. Just so you know, we're going to come back. The live show is coming back in 2019, which is great. We are going to be coming back. Our first live show, you might want to pencil this into your diaries, is going to be Monday, the 4th of February, 2019. Usual 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and so we've got a little way to go before we get to hang out again, and I'll be looking forward to getting to that point. We will have one more video that will. Actually, we'll have one more pre-record video that will go live on the first Wednesday of January, and so keep an eye out for that. So I won't be completely disappearing, but certainly I am about to take a well-earned break, if I might say so myself. It's been a massive year. And I know it's been a massive year for many of you. Of course, 2018 commenced with my wife, Jodie, in the middle of chemo treatment for her bowel cancer, and as many of you know, that the results of that have been really positive, and we continue to believe that they're going quite well. So thank you for all of your support during 2018. But that's certainly, when that's the frame of the year, it was always going to be a big year, but it's amazing still what we have been able to achieve. Do you know, we've actually had nearly 150, so I think it's about 130 new videos that we've been able to put up here on the Voice Essentials channel here in 2018. And so it really, from a production point of view, has been a really big year. And I also wanted to just share some news with you. Many of you know I'm a cat lover, and I've had my studio cat for the last 16 years has been Tabitha, and sadly on Saturday we had to put Tabby to sleep because she had got to a point. She was 16, and her kidneys were starting to fail, so she was starting to have renal failure, and it was very sad in the end. And she is very, very much missed, not only by myself and my kids and my wife Jodie, but of course by many people here in the studio, because she would often greet my students. She was an exceptionally, how do I say it, an exceptionally affectionate feline, and consequently she would often greet my students at the door, and they'd have a cuddle before their lesson. She was almost like a therapy cat, and so even one of my students, Mish, who may even be watching this show, hi Mish if you are, took a selfie only a few weeks back and shared that on Facebook when I made the post on the Djarts Facebook page. So that's lovely. So it's been a really, really hard weekend, and as you can imagine, with the year that we've had, a very tough thing to go through, but we're certainly looking forward to having a break, and we'll be taking 2 weeks. We're going camping, everyone. We are heading bush, and really looking forward to that. On Saturday, we've got someone coming in to mind our house, and so it'll be good to get away and take a break. So I don't neglect this point, I just want to take a moment to really thank my moderators, Karen from Singwise, who's been moderating as a part of these live hangouts and over on in the Facebook community page. And in particular, I want to thank Linda, who so diligently has been collating our questions and is doing that as we speak right now, has been taking your questions to make sure we can answer as many of your questions as we possibly can. Linda, you have just been such a great support this year, and your generosity of spirit and of task has been just outstanding. And so we as a community here at Voice Essentials just want to thank you for being such a wonderful person, human being, and I'm very much hoping that we can continue as a team into 2019. But it's not only me that's going to be having a break from running the live shows, everyone. It's going to be Linda as well, and Karen over at Singwise. Okay, now talking of 2019, before I show you some stats from the channel here for 2018, let me tell you a little bit about what I've got coming up. Do you know what? I've actually already, this is a little bit scary, maybe not for you, but certainly for me, I've actually already fully booked out my calendar for 2019. Not with students per se, mind you, my first term for 2019 is almost fully booked, but for teaching. But I'm talking about what we'll be producing in 2019. As many of you know, I am in the process of putting together the Voice Essentials online course. I had this completely naive idea that I was going to create two full courses, one for Voice Essentials 1 CD and a second one for Voice Essentials 2. And when I say I was naive, wow, so ignorant as to what it was going to take to put just one course together to the level that I want it to be at. And so I scaled back when I saw how much work was going to be involved. I finished writing the scripts for the videos last week. Now I'm going on break at the end of this week, so I will come back in the new year, beginning of the new year. I'm going to shoot those videos. I am hoping to launch in April. Please, well, that's actually what I'm pitching at, and I'm hoping that the first week of April will be when we launch. Now, I also want to let you know that I am going to be running a massive sale for you as a Voice Essentials community member. I am going to be kicking it off in February, so this is 2 months prior to launch. I'm going to be doing a pre-sale of that Voice Essentials 1 course, which is 10 modules that covers the entirety. Oh, we've got a phone call coming through. I'm going to get rid of that. The entirety of Voice Essentials 1 CD. So that's all 18 exercises. I am going to cover that all in Voice Essentials 1, and I am going to be running a massive pre-sale discount during February. Now, I'll tell you a bit more about that in the new year, but when I say massive, I'm saying you're going to start in the first week of February. It is going to be on sale for half price, which is, it's only going to be 1 week, everyone, and then then the discount rate is going to scale back over February, and then at the end of February you won't be able to get it on sale. You'll have to wait and you'll have to pay full price when it kicks off. But I'm doing that to get you guys, the best price that you possibly can, because everyone here at Voice Essentials, we're in this together. You guys have been such a great support to the channel, and I really wanted to give back to you. And so we're going to do that in the new year, and you're going to be able to purchase it. It's going to be $99 full price. So you're literally going to get the full course for half of that price, about $50. Yeah, so start saving your pennies, because if you get given some Christmas money, if you can't afford to get private singing lessons, whether it be with myself or someone else, then this is going to be really as close as you can possibly get to getting some quality instruction for an absolute bargain basement price. Hit the thumbs up button of this video if you think that's an awesome idea. Let me know in the chat section what you think of that, and it's going to be cool. And the other thing that we're going to be doing in 2019, I've already had a pre-production email correspondence, nothing more than that, about Voice Essentials 3. So we've got Voice Essentials 1, Voice Essentials 2, and 3. So I've already got the exercise track listing that we're going to be doing, and my producer Daniel Sporowski is locked in, and we're going to be doing it mid-year. So that'll come out, I'm hoping, around about September, and then I'll commence the production for Voice Essentials 2 online course. And my grand design, hopefully it all comes off, is that there'll be an online course for Voice Essentials 1, Voice Essentials 2, and Voice Essentials 3. Anywho, big dreams, and it's hopefully giving you, everyone here at Voice Essentials, access to really good quality instruction at a highly accessible price. Look, there are no substitutes for private one-on-one instruction, but I know many of you cannot afford that, and I know many of you aren't local to anywhere to where you can get that sort of instruction. So that's why I'm building this course, to at least give you access to something that you can have a good sense of trust and confidence in, that it's research-based, that it's evidence-based, and that's my hope for the new year. So we'll talk more about that in the new year. Let's now talk about some of the key statistics that happened during this year. And everyone's probably wondering, so, what sort of... I've got 5 major statistics that I want to show you from the channel. In a sense, to congratulate all of us here at the channel, because we've seen massive growth here at Voice Essentials during 2018. And probably the biggest piece of growth has been, we've gone from, we were just under 25,000. We didn't quite hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2017. We've literally grown by around about nearly 34,000 subscribers in 2018. And I am fully expecting that we will get to 60,000 subscribers by December 30, which is just really exciting. Guys, you guys have just been so good in your support to the channel, in sharing the videos, in letting people know about the community that we're building here. And so well done to all of us for that, that little stat. Do you know, talking of shares, in 2017, my videos were shared, the Voice Essentials videos were shared 4,500 times. So that's quite a few. But that more than tripled. Is that more than triple? I think that's more than tripled in 2018 to nearly 14,000 shares, which is just really exciting. And then in 2017, there was 3 million, nearly 3,300,000 minutes watched on the channel. That has more than doubled in 2018 to nearly 7. Well, by the time we get to the end of the year, because this is obviously the stats taken from yesterday, I put these together, to nearly 7 million minutes watched on the channel. So it's really, these are really exciting statistics. That equates to just under 1 million views in 2017, and now, and again, this is going to be probably we're going to strike the 2 million mark by the end of December. Over 2 million views in the year, which is exciting. And then finally, many of you have been kind enough to like the videos. 23,000 in 2017, and in 2018 we've had 48,000 likes on the channel. And I didn't actually bring up the statistics for the dislikes to sort of, I think I showed everyone last year the dislikes on the channel as a comparison, but the percentage is like, it's inconsequential, which tells me that you guys are really loving the content. It makes there is a fair bit of work in putting these videos together, as you might understand, and so it certainly makes my job all the more rewarding to know that you guys are getting stuff of quality out of the content and that you're really enjoying it. And actually, on that note, last week's, so the December pre-record video, which I know many of you have watched, about voice types, has been my biggest, and I want to say thank you to all of you, it has been my biggest ever launch of a video. We are nearly up to, I think it's nearly, we haven't even, the video isn't even a week old, and it's nearly had 4,000 views. And so thank you to many of you who have shared it. Hey, if you haven't watched it, can I really recommend it to you? It's one of my big videos. As you know, I spend some dollars on the big videos and get some graphics done by my animator, and we do a fair bit of production on it. If you don't understand voice types, if you don't know what your voice type is, then I really encourage you to make sure you have a watch and learn a bit more about that. But yeah, once again, thank you for the way that video has been received. I'm really chuffed that you guys are getting so much out of what we do here. And once again, I do have to just reference the Facebook community group, because over at Voice Essentials community Facebook group, I have been a little bit quiet over the last couple of weeks, and it's partly been the health of Tabitha, and we're dealing with that. But it's also been, gee, this has been a big year, everyone. And I'm just sort of keeping my boat afloat, and so to do that, I have been sort of watching and making sure that nothing untowards has been going on. But as far as my interactions, it's been low. In the new year, I will ramp back up and engage more directly with the Facebook community page. But I do want to say once again, thanks to everyone who conduct themselves so well, not only here on Voice Essentials YouTube channel and in the comments and the way you guys are so respectful of each other, you know, and you also do that over in the Facebook community page, and so it's just fantastic. If you're not a part of the Facebook community page, everyone is welcome. Just search Voice Essentials Community, and you'll find the page. It's not a closed group, but you do have to ask to be accepted, and that's sort of how we help to moderate the page. And then watch the video that's at the top, and I think there's an introduction video from myself. And then join in the conversation, because there's plenty going on over there. People are sharing videos of them singing, and people are giving comments and positive feedback and constructive feedback at times, which is fantastic. So Thank you to everyone. So it has been a massive year, and over that time we've also had so many fantastic guests on this show. People who are world class, and I don't say that lightly. And because, you know, here on YouTube, it is so easy to start a channel, call yourself, you know, a singing teacher, convince everyone by virtue of charisma and personality that you know what you're talking about, when in fact you may not, and just go off at the mouth about voice and misinterpret research and all these sorts of things. And one of the reasons why I started this channel was to bring you evidence-based, research-based information that is of a high standard, the highest if I can possibly achieve it. And I think we've really been doing that this year, especially with many of our guests. For example, Dr. Wendy last week. I mean, Dr. Wendy is so highly regarded, everyone, as are so many of our guests here on the channel. And we are going to continue that in 2019. I've already got a sort of a dream list of the people that I'd love to get on the show. So make sure, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Hit that white bell icon. I think we now have to say, you know, ring the white bell icon so that you don't miss out on when we're going live, especially for those guest shows, because our guests bring so much expertise to the channel that you guys are actually getting access to some of the world's best. I am not saying that lightly. Some of these people that we've had on this year, and some of the people I hope to have on in 2019, are literally some of the world's best singing pedagogues. And so I hope you'll continue to watch in the new year, because it's exciting. I love it. I mean, I'm a bit of a voice nerd, I get that, but I know you guys have been enjoying it as well. Okay, well, I think we should get to some questions, some Q&A, and as we always do, we should kick it off with this. Okay. And I don't think we've got the music playing anymore. I've always got to double check that, haven't I? So let's get into, we are going to give, look, one of our most active online people has been Matt. So let's give Matt the first question. We won't give Matt the last question. We'll give Matt the first question. And he's asked, Dr. Dan, how would you cope if you had to sing an alto note or soprano note? I was having difficulty hitting a higher bass note. And Matt is in a choir, and the director told him to sing in a quiet falsetto. Matt, you can either do it or you can't in the moment. And that's not to say that you can't develop the ability to do those things and to respond. This is where technique really comes into its own, and developing good technique is what great singing, you know, requires, because great technique gives you choice for voice, and without it, you're kind of left in a little bit of no man's land, and you kind of got to take a risk and hope for the best and all those sorts of things. And so certainly, Matt, if you've been asked to sing higher bass notes and whatever, higher notes, do your best, understanding that you may not achieve that, and that's completely okay. Yahui, who is also, all of our regulars here today, this is awesome, going down here, coming down here. When would you recommend someone start finding a singing teacher? Yahui, I always recommend people to start finding a singing teacher as soon as they possibly can, simply because the sooner you start, the sooner you can start developing this technique that I was just talking about for Matt. There's never a wrong time to start. The two things that that often restrict people from getting voice tuition is money and time, and they're very real commodities, right? And not all of us have a lot of money, and not all of us have a lot of time. But if neither of those two are, an overly, an unattainable thing, in the sense you can't, you've got some money and you've got some time, then start as soon as you can, Huey. And the only person that can make that judgment for you is you. No one can, no one should be twisting your arm or making you do things that that you don't want to do. But equally, the gold standard for good development of voice is private lessons. There's no, even me doing the online course, as I was saying earlier, does not take away from the gold standard is one-on-one. There is no question. And as hard as I am trying to make Voice Essentials 1 online course as robust as I possibly can, to have as much rigor educationally as it possibly can, at the end of the day, it is not going to be of the same, it's going to be different to private lessons. But again, private lessons, especially for qualified singing teachers, and that's actually who I'd recommend you have lessons with, someone who has expertise and qualifications. They're difficult to achieve financially sometimes. So it really comes down to you. Lucas is asking, you're throwing me a curveball here, Lucas. Are you familiar with Ken Tamplin? If so, do you plan on inviting him on here? I don't think so, Lucas. I think... what I'm about to say should in no way be misinterpreted as me dissing on Ken, but I think Ken and I come at this thing from different angles, and certainly Ken is serving his community in the manner that he serves his community, and I'm serving my community in the manner that I serve my community. So one should never say never. Perhaps that day may come when we do have Ken onto the channel. I'm not sure that Ken would even accept an invitation, firstly, and secondly, I don't even know if Ken would know who I am. So at this stage, I don't have plans to invite Ken on. Again, I think we probably come at this thing slightly from different pedagogical standpoints. I understand that can be really interesting to hear people talk about it from different angles, but equally at this stage, no plans to invite Ken onto the channel. Now, Linda is telling me that we have a couple of leftover questions that I need to scroll back to page 25, and you will highlight them. I'm scroll. Oh, there. See, Linda, this is why you are awesome. They are highlighted on page 25, just like you said. Here they are. Jason John, and I don't know if Jason's watching today, but we'll answer his question anyway. When I was 6, I could sing whistle notes, but now I cannot like I used to. What if there are any exercises can help me to get my whistle? I am 18 now. Oh, Jason, I don't know. Look, the thing we know about whistle notes, and to my knowledge this is still the case, always happy to be directed to new information on this, but I believe the current understanding about whistle notes is that you need to be able to, it's a genetically driven thing, just like some of you can't roll your tongue like that because it's a genetically driven thing. The same goes with whistle notes, because it's a very specific posturing of the vocal folds, where only the front half of the vocal folds are being are ripple waving, oscillating to create sound. I cannot do whistle notes, no matter how much I've tried. I cannot do them, and I do have another whole video about whistle notes, which you're more than welcome to check out on the channel. But Jason, it may well be that what you thought were whistle notes when you were 6 were purely a very small larynge being able to create, and a very very short vocal tract by virtue of the fact that you were only 6 and you were, probably knee-high to a grasshopper, that you were probably able to create a whistle note-like voice or sound, and so it may not be that you're able to do that now that you are essentially a young adult. Now, Roseanne Anselmo, I probably should just get out of the habit of trying to pronounce people's last names because I get them so wrong. What do you think of speech level singing exercises? Roseanne, I have a whole video about speech level singing, which you can check out on the channel. I encourage you to do that. And I'll make the point, one of the points that I make on that video, and that is, look, if these methods like speech level singing, Estelle, a breath management method like accent, go to even ones like Ken Tamplin's approach to singing, as we were talking about before. If these were disastrously bad, then there'd be no one around saying these have helped me. And so I'm always really cautious to say that, certain methods are wrong. I actually have said that privately on a couple of occasions about certain things that I've heard about certain methods that will remain nameless, and I'm not referring to speech level singing in this regard, in this moment. But speech level singing has certainly, which was created by Seth Riggs back in the 70s. In fact, it might even be earlier that he started to workshop his method. It's been around for quite some time now. It has helped a lot of people. Certainly aspects of it have helped a lot of people. And I use some of the ideals of speech level singing in the way I teach. I'm a very eclectic teacher. I'm fiercely independent and fiercely eclectic. I don't subscribe and am not certified in any one method. And if you're a teacher and you're watching currently and you are, that's cool. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to be, but I'm not. I've approached the development of my pedagogy by virtue of academia, which is certainly not method-based. But certainly with speech level singing, there are some really good activities on it. But one of the reasons why, Roseanne, why I'm fiercely independent and fiercely, I don't subscribe to any particular method, is because here's the deal, Roseanne. No one method can teach you everything you need to know about voice. So one thing I feel I want to be very careful of in my own pedagogy, in my own teaching, is to not become blinkered, and to not become so narrowly focused that I've just got to teach within the boundaries of what a method may or may not say. And that's my personal view. I want to really own and ground those comments. That's my personal view. And there will be people that you'll come into contact with, Roseanne, who may feel quite differently. And I hope that we can respectfully, perhaps disagree on that point if someone does disagree with me on that. So I hope that, Roseanne. So certainly if you're having lessons from someone who is a certified speech level singing teacher, you are going to get some really good stuff from them. But just always remember that no one singing teacher, me included, no one singing teacher can give you everything you need. It's not possible. No, singing teachers are not divine beings, infallible. We are finite beings that, with the world of pedagogy being as big and ever expanding as it is, it's just not humanly impossible to stay at complete current pace with everything going on. So just be mindful of that whenever you are looking for a good quality singing teacher. Rate My Singing has asked, how do I tell the difference between chest voice and mixed voice? They say that for chest voice you feel the vibrations in the chest. Does this happen with mixed voice too? Let's be careful here, Rate My Singing, please, because it's the vibrations that you may, and not everyone does. And this is where chest voice and head voice, Rate My Singing, I don't think you've watched many of my videos. I think you need to take a deep dive into some of my videos to learn a little bit more about voice registration and understand that, for example, chest voice, the language, the labels of chest and head actually come from a time when we literally believe, this is back 15th, 16th century, we thought that there was a sound-making mechanism in our chest because, like you've suggested, you could feel vibrations in the chest, and then we thought that there was a voice-making mechanism in our head because we thought we could, feel vibrations in our head. Of course, we'd missed it. The sound-making mechanism, the larynx, is seated in the neck between the two. And so all of these vibrations that we definitely feel as singers are empathetic vibrations. They are subsequent to, they're not actually directly attached to. And so some people will feel vibrations in their chest, in their head, and that's okay. But some people won't. Kinesthesia is on a spectrum, so some people do feel that. So does this happen with mixed voice? Some people will feel some vibration with mixed, but not always. So just be mindful of that. Some of you, I wonder if you've got any more questions, because we are running dry. I've just had a note here from Linda saying there's no more questions. We've got one coming in. Lucas is asking, I might even be able to read this from the bottom of the page here. If you've got questions, we are going to finish up very soon. So if you want to get questions in, then make sure you do it really soon, because we're going to finish up for the year in a moment. I'm looking here and I'm not making sense of the online chat, I'm afraid. Rate My Singing has said there is vibrations or something. There is. That's okay. If there's vibrations in your mixed voice sound or placement, that's fine. Rate My Singing, please. I do want you to go and check out my video on voice registration. You can also look at my video on mixed voice. You can look at my videos on chest voice. These are not labels that I easily or readily use, and you'll learn more about that as you watch my videos, because there is more current labeling, I guess, that we can use, which is helpful. And so that is the question that we're looking at here. I'm doing an audition. Lucas is asking, I'm doing an audition for the US Army band, and I'm doing a jazz rock solo in the US, and should I put my own brand on them or stick closer to the original? Lucas, that's actually going to come back to your band leader and what they as the musical director are looking for. At times your musical director is going to be looking for you to emulate the cover artist, or even the era specifically that you're looking for. But at other times they're going to give you license. They're going to say to you, hey, we want you to put your own feel on this, and neither is wrong. There's no right or wrong here. It's a matter of you responding to what you're being asked to do, and then doing your best to do that. A lot of the time when we're on the channel here, we mostly talk about singing solo. So and developing your own unique sound, and the reason we do that is because that's a great place. Actually, that's actually a better and healthier place for you to start in your development as a singer, and then learn to copy or emulate other singers later once you've got some technique undergirding the voice. And in fact, one of my very first videos this year, it may have been one of the very last videos of 2017, I can't remember, was about the errors or the dangers of copycatting, emulating, other artists. So you might want to go and check that out. But equally, there's nothing wrong in using those sorts of emulations if that's what you need to, especially if you're in a tribute band, for example. Rate my singing. Also, why is there a difference between a female and a male head voice? Well, again, we're starting to get into the nuance or the shortcomings of head voice, chest voice language. There is a slight difference between what is actually referred to as falsetto for men and flute for women, and it is actually in the way the different tonal color that is being produced, because in the audial space that the flute register for a female will sit, the sound quality will be a little bit different. We are going to give the last question because I've just seen the time and I really do need to finish up for the year. Wow. Bree is asking, I'm going to give this last question to Bree. Will repeated... I'm chasing poor Linda is like busily sort of typing away. Has probably got a big grin on her face right now as I'm being cheeky. Bree, will repeated lung infections have an impact on your voice over time? Bree, I think the answer to that would be yes. Remembering that air fuels the voice. If you have inconsistent air, if you have poor pulmonary, if you have a pulmonary weakness by virtue of like a lung weakness, a lung health weakness due to repeated lung infections, that is almost certainly going to have an impact on your voice, because if you are weak in your airflow, if you're not able to really feed consistent air through your larynx, then unfortunately this means that your larynx is going to be kind of in a position where it's going to be working probably way too hard, and as a result the voice will become laryngeally focused. Now, of course, it's not your lungs that are doing the work. It should be your abdominals in teams with your oblique muscles and your intercostal muscles, but equally lung infections can leave that whole system feeling quite compromised, and the likely outcome of that is that the larynx will be working harder to create consistent sound. So the answer to that, Bree, is yes. And so if you are currently experiencing repetitive lung infections, then I can only suggest that that you make sure you see your doctor, and that you walk that journey with them in seeking out some treatment for that. And if you're unsatisfied with what your treating doctor has given you, then seek out a second opinion. But as many of you know here on the channel, I am an advocate for traditional Western medicine that has been based on good, solid, peer-reviewed, blind research and all those sorts of things. And so I'd be encouraging you back to your medical doctor to see if you can clear that up. Well, I think we are going to, and Linda said, no more questions until 2009. That is true, Linda. We are going to call it a day. We're going to draw a line under it. I've really enjoyed the year. It's been, in many respects, I'll be honest with you, everyone, in many respects, Jodie and I, my wife and I, we are, especially after the weekend where we had to put Tabby down, where we are looking forward to leaving 2018 behind, because it had chemo and it had some horrible stuff in it. But this has, for me, our online time together has been an oasis. I have thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with you guys during the year. I hope you have too. Please leave a thumbs up on the videos if you have been enjoying these times. And we're going to continue to forge this relationship that we've been developing together over the last, nearly 2-3 years now. The Voice Essentials channel has been going. And I'm hoping that many of you will return in 2019. As I said, we've got really exciting things planned. It's going to be a busy year, but I think it's going to be a really fruitful year, not just for the channel, not just for us as a community, but for you and your voice. So many of you have ticked big boxes this year, whether it be starting singing lessons, whether it be doing your first performance, whether it be recording your voice and uploading being brave and uploading your videos to the Facebook community page. Well done to all of you. It has been a big one, and I'm looking forward to 2019 in many respects being as big, if not bigger, than the year we've had this year. I will sign off now. I'm going to go on an extended little break. That doesn't make any sense, Daniel. And I will see you all. Well, I'll see you in the pre-record video in the first Wednesday of January. But of course, I will also see you all again for our first live hangout together, February the 4th, Monday, February the 4th, 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you then, when you will always hear me say, I'm Dr. Dan, sing well.